champions once again. What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Thank you for joining us on our Tuesday live show. Back at our regular schedule, 3 p.m. Central Time. Go down there, type champs, because we're the only team that can do it. So I need everybody in there typing champs. If you type it, you get a shout out. Who's typing champs in the chat? I see Jan Rockefeller. I see Randy Moore. I see Tony Fuentes. Purple Labrador. Cole Kelleher. Time in the Buckeye saying champs. Kansas City Chiefs fan typing champs. Time in the Buckeye. And Tony's still good in there. Lixer. Caden Hall. Jet Thrasher typing champs. We're the only team that can do it, so you might as well put it in there. Amy Smith. Lisa Feinberg. Tony Fuentes, Richard Martin saying, champs. Let's go. Let's go. Champions once again. Caden 4425. Jet Thrasher, spam those champs. Parker Gamer is hanging out with us in the chat. Let's absolutely go. We're champs. And guess what? We got a champion of a producer behind the ones and twos because, Sam, you're a champion for the second year in a row. How does it feel?
Boy, I mean, you can't really put these feelings into words, right? Whenever you wake up, it just feels a little different. The air is just a little bit fresher. I just poured myself a coffee. The coffee just tastes a little different. Tastes like championship coffee. It's just a feeling that a lot of people can't describe around here. Just off the top of my head, Mitchell Renz, the Raiders report, I know he can't describe that feeling.
He can't describe a win half the weeks.
Tom Downey, Cowboys report, haven't had that feeling in a long time. It's just a good feeling. I'm happy to be around, happy to be back.
We see Robert Barr in there saying champs. Tammy Jackson's hanging out with us. King Xavier saying champs. We got Tony Fuentes, Jet Thrasher. Gabriel saying Jason, Sam, thank you. Well, hey, thank you, Gabriel. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Jan Rockefeller, Tammy, all typing champs. Where are you watching today's show from? I want to know where the champions are watching from all across America, the U.S., the world. We got Luca in the chat. I know he likes to hang out. Yep, there's Tony. There's Tony. Time Man says, Rick, weren't you the one saying champs 2 seconds ago? King Xavier saying York, Pennsylvania. Cole Kellner from Wichita. Tony Fuentes from El Paso. King Xavier, am I saying that right? You think I'm saying that right, Sam? You see it? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Purple Labrador from Ulster County, New York. Gabriel from Gresham, Oregon. Paul Amos from Tonganoxie, Kansas. Sam?
I was going to say, Parker asked if we saw his question. Your question is in the quay, Parker. And we'll break down how you can get on the show here in a little bit, but I've got it.
Gosh. Parker's watching from Tennessee.
I got it in early. Not again. I won't do it again.
Use hashtag Chiefs. Get in there. Terrence from Rock Island, Illinois. Lisa Feinberg from New York. Jet Thrasher in Georgia. Parker Gamer saying okay. Richard Martin saying Washington, Kansas? Waukene, Kansas? I don't know. Tennessee.
Yeah, I think that's Waukene.
Waukene. I think it's what it's supposed to be. I just can't read. King Xavier saying yes. Okay, good. All right, God, appreciate it. I was making sure I was getting that name right. I was making sure. Well, I tell you what. I know we got Tammy. I know we got Jan. And they've been helpers here on our stream, help really keep the lights on here at Chat Sports and on the Chiefs Report. Today we got a super chat menu, and I'm telling you, it's been a good month of February, so we're going to try and continue these good deals. The boss is, well, we're starting to prove the Chiefs can pull their weight on the live shows on Tuesdays, but we need to continue it. We need to keep up the pressure, and we got some nice deals for you. $10 is a Mahomes jersey raffle. Here's our usual Tuesday super chat menu. $20, you're getting your name on the Chiefs Hall of Fame ball, which I realized right at the second I left in the office. So if we get 20, I'll fetch Sam, or he can fetch somebody. Let's go get it. MVP of the month. Right now it's Jan Rockefeller. We'll show you that list in just a second. You're getting an MVP shirt, which is your customized Chiefs gear custom shirt with a custom number and a custom Chiefs water bottle. And we do have a deal of the day. You see this $10? Watch this. Bang, that's magic right there. That's magic at work. Today, $10 is 2 raffle entries. $5 is 1 raffle entry for the Patrick Mahomes jersey. Obviously, we do have the MVP gear as well, so you can kind of increase your total if you're Jan Rockefeller, or you can jump in here and try and increase and maybe challenge Jan. I know Wallace Stone was wanting that jersey. Jan right now atop the list at $150. And if we look at the entries on how many Jan has, she has 24, a little bit more than Wallace Stone. And Jan today, $5 is going to get you 1 raffle entry. 10 is 2 raffle entries, and well, let's just say you can do the math. $5 is 1, so you can keep going up and up and up. $20, you're getting your name on the football, you're getting 4 entries. And you're helping yourself out for the MVP here.
That's what they call a good old-fashioned deal.
That's a good deal. That's a good deal right there.
Find it on the clearance rack.
That's a clearance rack right there. That's nice. Stacy Newman's hanging out with us from Spring Hill, Florida. But that's our super chat menu. As always, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Just comment in the chat, liking it. Hey, that's all we can ask for. Obviously, we know that not everybody can sit here and donate, so that's fine. But we appreciate anybody who can. And obviously, again, this money is not going to us. It's not going to Sam. I can guarantee you that. He's not going to me.
I still have to work to pay my bills, contrary to what you might think.
What you think?
That's
all it
wild.
does, and make sure we can keep getting the great content out to y'all. And on top of which, makes the lights much brighter here. It gives us a lot more shows to put on, so we always certainly appreciate it. All right, let's get into a couple questions about today's show. And the first one is, well, the one that I think everybody will be talking about for the next couple months. Will the Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones? I want you to let me know in the comment section. Type R for re-sign, type P for pass. What will the Kansas City Chiefs do with Chris Jones? Purple Labrador saying re-sign, Terrence saying re-sign, Parker saying re-sign, Andrew saying re-sign, Jet Thrasher saying re-sign, Tyman saying re-sign, Purple Labrador saying if they don't, man, I don't want to get in front of that. Lisa Feinberg saying R, Randy Moore typing R, Blue Man for you typing R. Lots of re-signs.
And it feels like that's the big looming decision around this Chiefs offseason, right? Like, there are certain things that will happen. I think Patrick Mahomes will get his contract restructured,
100%.
like we've already started to talk about. I already have faith based on recent draft classes in Brett Veach to handle that side of things. I'm not too concerned about that as long as you're addressing the right needs. The big key is which one of those free agents are they gonna keep? Because like you said the other day, there's 25 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of free agents, and from Adam Schefter, what he talked about, and we'll kind of mention it again in the show, it seems like most executives, most media members, anybody close to the team believe that the Chiefs are going to run it back next year with pretty much everybody intact because L'Jarius Sneed wants to stay. Chris Jones sounds like he wants to stay. It's just about the money side of it and if they can get a good deal done on both sides, which sounds like there's going to be work on both sides with a quote we got from Andy Reid, which we'll talk about later on in today's show, so make sure you stick around. Obviously, though, the offseason now, so we can kind of open up a lot of questions. We've talked a lot about it throughout the season. I know we've talked about who we want to sign, all that stuff, but now you've won Super Bowl 58, and this offseason kind of be even more fun because you're winners. So if you got a question about the offseason, got a question about the Super Bowl, got a statement about what's going on in Kansas City, we'll use hashtag Chiefs, and Jan Rockefeller takes the deal right away. I knew that the deal was going to hit it right there. And Jan with a $20 super chat. Shout out to Jan Rockefeller. The ball is in my desk or close to my desk. We'll get that. We'll put your name on it. But that is 5 entries for Jan Rockefeller. And on top of which, she is now securely in front for that MVP item of getting the custom Chiefs shirt and the custom Chiefs water bottle. Everybody spam Jan in the chat. And Sam, we didn't even get to the graphic, but you know what happens on Tuesdays when somebody super chats, right? You know, you missed a week, so
everyone knows.
You weren't here last week. I want to make sure you remember. All right, Jan, we thank you. Jan. Jen. I'll tell you what. I don't make deals on Tuesdays, and I feel like that needs to change. We're Super Bowl champions now. I got to make some deals, right? I got to make some deals. If we get to $100 in super chats today, I'll do a Murbanga, which I've never done before, by the way. Never done before a Murbanga. I'll do it.
You tried to sell it during the last one.
I did. We didn't get there. We were really close. We didn't get there, though. If we get to $100 in super chats today, we're doing a Murbanga. So that's that. But I love all the Jans in the chat. Randy Moore, Tony Fuentes, Jet Thrasher, Robert saying we have to keep Sneed around. I agree, man. Tammy Jackson, type in Jan. Man, I love it. It's right next to it. Right to the right of it. To the right of it. Yes, it's in the little bag. Make sure they bring a Sharpie, too. So. Oh, man. Nice. All right. We appreciate you. Jet Thrasher saying Jan pull through. Hey, maybe somebody else got to step up. It can't always be Jan, you know? Can't always be Jan and Ronald. Those were always the ones to step up. Need somebody else to step up. But hey, that's all right. Again, if you got any questions, hashtag Chiefs, you can skip the line with, like Jan had, a super chat. So, Jan, if you want a question, use hashtag Chiefs. I will make sure that Sam gets it in there for you. So, hashtag Chiefs, and we'll get it going.
It's going to be the very first question.
100%. If you want it,
we'll make
get
sure.
So, there you go. Hey, I like that question. I like that, Jan. I like that. That's the first question of our mailbag. It's a good one. I like it. All right, well, what's coming up on today's show? By the way, nice update, Sam. 28 entries for Jan Rockefeller. We're on top of it. Today's slate, we got a couple of amazing shows for you. We're going to talk about the perfect offseason and what the Chiefs need to do to be right back in Super Bowl 59 and try to become the first team in the Super Bowl era to three-peat. We'll talk about everything that needs to happen and the things that I think Brett Veach is looking to get done. Then we'll talk about re-signing Chris Jones. This is a part of the perfect offseason, but I think it deserves its own video. I think we deserve to sit there and talk about exactly what needs to be done and really almost the timeline. Because Chris Jones, we talked about a year ago, nobody really thought what was going to happen. You know, obviously the holdout and all that. And then, again, we got the live mailbag coming up at the end. Obviously, getting those questions in, hashtag Chiefs. We certainly appreciate it, as always. I want to have a good, fun mailbag. Got a couple of good questions already, but it'd be certainly great. And Colin, bring in the football. Let's go. Thank you. Jan, appreciate it. Jan, I know we got some names on here, but you on here, we're going to put you on the bottom one of this. We should be getting another one of these for our MVP of February.
Well, we won't be able to use it until we fill that one out.
Correct. We got to fill this one out first, though. So that's good. Jan, we're going to put you on the right side now. You're filling up this ball by yourself. It's just going to be the Jan Rockefeller ball at this point. Which, like, hey, I'm not mad about it.
Call it Rockefeller Center.
Look at Sam. Quick
that one was just kind of lobbed up for me there.
They didn't teach you that one in Oklahoma.
I don't quite know if I'm supposed to respond to that one.
You probably don't know how to respond. You went to Oklahoma.
Hurry up, we gotta get into the show.
I'm trying, man. This is a better Sharpie this time. The Sharpie on Sunday did not look good. So Jan, name is a lot better this time. Jan Rockefeller, a lot better right there. We got to fill this up. We got a pretty good amount of names, but there's space for a lot more. And hey, every Tuesday we're gonna have some deals. So we're gonna maybe it'll be easier to get on this ball at some point. The bosses don't really tell me the deals till the day of the day. The day of the day. The day of the live show. Anyway, all right, I think I'm done being a Dumbo. Let's talk about the Chiefs and the perfect offseason, all coming up right here on the Chiefs Report. So, hey, if you're excited, hit that like button, and let's get going on today's live show. Get down right there. Sam, you ready? Okay, that sounded ready. Let's get going here on the Chiefs Report. The Kansas City Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions, but what do they need to do to become the first ever team in the Super Bowl era to become three-peat champions? Well, that's what we're going to go through today on the perfect offseason plan for the Kansas City Chiefs and what Brett Veach needs to get done to make sure the Chiefs are this exact same position in 2025, winning Super Bowl 59. And I'm telling you what, we're going to have the whole show of perfect offseason. But if you want the Chiefs to go win in New Orleans, Super Bowl 59, they've already released the logo. It's red, which means the Chiefs are going to be there. So hit that like button right now because I know every single one of you should be smashing that like button if you want the Chiefs to go back to back to back. So hit that like button. It takes a couple seconds and it helps us produce more videos. On top of which, and make sure that everybody knows who rules Chiefs Kingdom here on YouTube. Go down there, hit that like button. All right, let's get to going here with the first one being the most important thing of this entire offseason because, well, it's the gateway to open up all the other things we're going to talk about. And that's to figure out the cap space. This has been an issue in prior years, and it once again becomes an issue this year that we've talked about in the regular season, but obviously it hasn't been that important until now because guess what? Now that offseason is fully here, and you got to figure out what you're going to do with your money. You have $22.8 million right now in cap space heading into 2024, but that is not what it's going to finish at. We've already talked about a couple of ways the Chiefs could save some money. Here's 4 ways that I think will be the most likely things we'll see from Brett Veach. The first one we're expecting to happen probably within the next couple weeks. and that's restructuring Patrick Mahomes' contract. Now, obviously, we've talked about on the show, the cap space is a big issue because Mahomes' contract is so big. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, he 100% does, but at the same time, we have to sit here and look at and say, okay, now that he has won his Super Bowls, is it worth it to him to take a little bit of a pay cut in the next couple of years to try and go back to back to back, to try and keep winning those Super Bowls and hopefully become the GOAT of GOATs, take down Brady's 7 Super Bowl rings? And then the 3 guys right here, cut Marquez Valdes-Scantling, cut Sky Moore, and cut Justin Ross. Sky Moore is about $1.2 million if you're going to save if you cut him post-June 1st, about under $1 million if you cut him pre-June 1st. Justin Ross is $1 million if you save either way. And then MVS could be around $12 million, $10 million, depending on when they decide to cut him, if they cut him. But that postseason run makes me believe that MVS has earned his spot on the Chiefs, especially he got a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Only 2 people can say that on the Chiefs squad, and it's MVS and Mecole Hardman. So I don't know if he gets cut. But I asked this question. If you had to cut one of these receivers, who are you cutting? I know there's been a lot of hype around Justin Ross, and obviously we didn't get to see too much of him this season, but overall, the athletic ability is still there. Sky Moore, who was a part of that legendary draft that had Isaiah Pacheco, Leo Chenal, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, but unfortunately for him, the second-round pick out of Western Michigan, not really doing too much. Is it time to cut Sky Moore, save you about $1.2 million? Or is MVS worth it? Obviously a bigger contract. If you cut him, you're saving $10 million. Pick one to cut. MVS for Marquez Valdes-Scantling, SM for Sky Moore, JR for Justin Ross. Pick one down in the comment section down below. All right, obviously the 2 priorities are Brett Veach, is going to be, there we go. No matter what the number is on Mahomes' contract, we're going to get that down. Now, this coming from Jonathan Jones of CBS Shorts. The Chiefs are certain to get Mahomes' cap number lower for 2024 by the start of the new league year in March. He continues on to say, a simple contract restructure would save the team roughly $37 million in cap space, and Mahomes would have a cap hit of in 2024 in the low 20s. So this is the first one we talked. We talked about those 3 receivers you could cut, but how exactly could you work out Mahomes' contract? Well, right now you're sitting at around $24 million in cap space. Obviously, that could fluctuate. We don't know exactly what the incentives were. Some of them were hidden. We'll figure that out in the next couple of days. Seems as though it's going to be around $22 million after all that. After restructurement, though, either way you slice it, no matter how much incentives are out or not, it's going to be around $60 million is what the Chiefs could have in cap space coming into 2024 free agency season, which would make it a lot easier for you to go to our second part of the perfect offseason and re-signing Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. Because right now, with the $24 million you're going to have, that's not exactly enough to keep both these guys, especially with the way L'Jarius Sneed played this season. We obviously know Chris Jones was going to get his bag no matter what in this offseason, but L'Jarius Sneed, well, he's going to earn himself a lot of money with the way he played this season. 78 tackles, 14 pass breakups. That's a career high for him, 2 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. This guy was locked down, and we talk about his stats here, but I think we can go even further. When he faced top wide receivers in the National Football League, he shut them down. A.J. Brown, 1 reception, 8 yards. DJ Moore, 3 receptions, 41 yards. Stephon Diggs, 4 receptions, 24 yards. By the way, he played Stephon twice. This was his better game. The other time, 21 yards. Justin Jefferson, 3 receptions, 28 yards. Jefferson, widely regarded as the top wide receiver in the National Football League. And if it's not him, it's Tyreek Hill, who L'Jarius Sneed also shut down twice in both the wild card round and in Germany back in Week 9 of the NFL season. Listen, L'Jarius Sneed is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, if not the best, in my opinion. And he wants to stay in Kansas City. He had this quote talking to a couple of guys just before the Super Bowl saying, I would love to be back. I don't want to go anywhere. It's part of the business. Now, obviously, in that last quote is the one where it's like, okay, he knows it's a business, but at the same time, he wants to be here in Kansas City. He wants to be a part of a Super Bowl winning organization, and I think the Chiefs want him too. The question is, who's more important? Is it Chris Jones or is it L'Jarius Sneed? I want you to get down in the comments section and let me know in today's video. We've asked this question a lot, but now it seems as though there's a potential to get both. But let's say, hypothetical here, you pick one. Who's the more important guy to re-sign? L'Jarius Sneed, Chris Jones. S for Sneed, J for Jones. Get down in the comments section, and we'll give you a second to go answer that question. All right, the third one is one we've talked about since literally week 1. I kid you not. After the whole Kadarius Toney debacle and the Lions game, we were talking about who the wide receivers that the Chiefs could trade for. T. Higgins is one of them. It was him and Mike Evans. Guess what? They're both now free agents. I think T. Higgins fits better with the Chiefs. So how exactly could the Chiefs sign him? Well, it's going to be up to Brett Veach. And I sit here and say that Brett Veach has to make a move, and we haven't really seen him make moves. He's made moves. They just haven't been as wide scale and as large as, say, T. Higgins. They haven't been those big names. Because we look back on the Mike Edwards signing last year. Huge. Drue Tranquill signing last year. Huge. He signed some guys who were really, really big and a part of a great Chiefs defense. But now you got to make a move for a big player. Will he do it? We'll tell you my thoughts here in just a second, but I want to give a shout out to one of our amazing sponsors, and that is Game Time. If you want $20 off your first purchase at Game Time, guess what? We got a special code for you using Chiefs Chat. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets, not just to sporting events. Don't think it's just that. They got music, they got comedy, and they got theater events in your area. And guess what? You're not going to have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event with Game Time, because they're going to give you the peace of mind when buying tickets with their best price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets, and I've been telling you this for a long time. The Royals are going to be good this season. Bobby Witt Jr. signed that big contract, and guess what? They also just announced plans for a new stadium. Well, go check out Kauffman while it lasts, because Kauffman's a beautiful place, has lovely fountains in center field. Go check it out. This could be one of the last seasons that's out there. So get your tickets on Game Time. You can get $20 off your first purchase, which means more money for a nice Frank, a nice hot dog, nice little drink, Coke, beer, whatever you want. You got to save money using code ChiefsChat, $20 off your first purchase. Opening day against the Minnesota Twins is coming fast upon us. So make sure you go check it out at Game Time and use that code ChiefsChat for $20 off. Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to help you save on money and tickets. With their zone deals, you pick the section, and then Game Time will pick the seats to get you an average of 18% of savings. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account using code ChiefsChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHIEFS CHAT for $20 off. Game Time, last minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Let's talk more about T. Higgins and his past 4 seasons in the league. His first 4 seasons in the league. Obviously, this year, he had a little bit of injury issues. The Bengals, as a whole, just had an injury problem. Joe Burrow going down. You had Chase having a couple games off, and T. Higgins obviously missing a couple as well. Still, 656 yards and 5 touchdowns. This guy has had 5 touchdowns or more in every single year he's played. And remember, this rookie year, it was only him. It wasn't Chase. And then, guess what? Chase came in the picture. He increased his total, over 1,000 yards in both 2021 and 2022. And I think people would be foaming at the mouth when they saw T. Higgins in a freaking Chiefs uniform. You got to get it done. I would love to see him in a Chiefs uniform. But the ultimate kind of, idea of this is sign a wide receiver. Sign somebody. If it's T. Higgins, lovely. That's who I want. If it's not, you got to get one of these 5. Probably in the price range that you're wanting, probably going to be one of these 3. T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, and Calvin Ridley. Michael Pittman could be a possibility, but if I had to predict, I think he'll probably go back to the Colts on a pretty nice deal for himself. Mike Evans, at this point, I just think he's going to be asking for too much, and the Chiefs ultimately weren't too interested in him in the trade deadline. Obviously, the Bucs had kind of turned their season around at that point, but either way, you got to get one of these guys, Higgins, Brown, or Ridley. Ridley obviously being kind of heavily linked by PFF to potentially be with the Kansas City Chiefs next year. So we'll have to see. I asked this question, though, whether it's a wide receiver or not. Get in the comment section of this video. Name a player you want the Kansas City Chiefs to sign in this offseason. I'm curious to see what y'all think, because there's a lot of guys that I think would fit well in Kansas City, but name one that you would like to see in the red coming up in 2024 in Arrowhead Stadium, which, by the way, they'll open up the season once again on Thursday Night Football, so I'm excited to see who all is in uniform that day. But go down there, name a player you want the Chiefs to sign this offseason. The next, we go to the draft. You got to draft a defensive lineman, a wide receiver, and an offensive lineman. Even if you sign T. Higgins, you sign Marquise Brown, you sign Calvin Ridley, use a draft pick on a wide receiver, you've got a pretty decent amount for being a Super Bowl champion. You've got picks in round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 2 in round 5, the compensatory pick, and the one via Dallas. And so what are you going to do with these picks? I think the most important one is drafting a wide receiver, because if you re-sign the right guys, then hopefully you can kind of maybe test the market. Rashee Rice was a second-round pick, but there's also a way of them trading up to maybe getting a better wide receiver. But right now, let's just say they don't trade up. Let's say they have that round 1 pick 32. Here's the wide receivers that were available in a mock draft that I did earlier today. These are the ones that are probably going to be the best options. You got Keon Coleman, who is being the one who's honestly in every mock draft I see, he's the pick the Chiefs go with on pick number 32. Adonai Mitchell, though, a good second choice. I kind of like him a little bit more than Keon Coleman. I think he's lesser of a risk. His ceiling isn't as high, but I think Keon Coleman, his separation just scares me. He's not exactly getting the same amount of separation as Adonai Mitchell got. And then Devontae Walker, who I really like. Honestly, in some way, if the Chiefs could manage to maybe, if they'd like, trade out of the first round this year and maybe into a better slot in the second round, get Devontae Walker, get a draft pick for next year, potential way it could do that. But again, all three guys are really good. Look at their college stats this year. They all played exceptionally well. Keon Coleman, 650, 11 touchdowns. Adonai Mitchell, 840, 11 touchdowns. He played 14 games, by the way, into the playoffs. Devontae Walker, almost 700 yards, 41 receptions, and 7 touchdowns. Devontae, again, great player. Didn't play every single game, had only 8 games due to some, let's call them issues. Not anything with him, more with the NCAA, but I don't really want to worry about that. I will tell you what, though. Whoever they draft, doesn't matter. We're going to be covering it right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. So hit that subscribe button today, because guess what? They're going for a wide receiver. They're going for a defensive lineman, offensive lineman. Doesn't matter. We're going to have you covered with the latest mock drafts. I'm going to throw you some mock drafts your way to see who maybe I would draft if I was Brett Veach. But we know Brett Veach loves draft season, because the past 2 years, he's drafted some aces. So hit down there, subscribe today. We got coverage, and when the Super Bowl comes, guess what? We're probably going to be live for it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I want to see every one of you there. All right, the next one is to extend Andy Reid. And I think this is already in motion. And so I put this last just because I think it's the lesser of these in terms of value. I think up until now, we've kind of gone in order of how exactly this should go. But Reid, in some ways, could probably be the top one and be the first thing the Kansas City Chiefs do. Now, right now, he's got 2 years left on his current contract, making $12 million a year, which, by the way, is really, really low for how good he has been. And quite honestly, Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, he needs to make more money than them. And right now, he's not. So I would think that's coming in the next couple of days. I believe it was Schefter or Rappaport. I don't know which one, but one of them reported that Reid was in talks with a contract extension, whether a win or a loss in the Super Bowl. Obviously, the win helps. He's going to be getting paid here in a couple of days. And again, this does not affect cap space. Coaches aren't included in that stuff. So Brett Veach and Hunts can give him all the money he wants, hopefully. Andy Reid deserves it, so I hope they do. I want to know your confidence level in the Kansas City Chiefs offseason. Obviously, that's the perfect offseason, but are they going to get all those moves done? Are they going to get some of those moves done? Well, let me know your confidence with a scale here, 1 being least confident, 10 being most confident. Chiefs Kingdom, we appreciate you watching. It's off-season time, and the coverage does not stop. As always, peace out. Nice. Nice, guys. Nice. 10 from Paul, 10 from Jan. Richard Martin saying 7. Tony saying 7. Purple Labrador, 8.5. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's true, Jerome. Potentially get 5th year. Jerome says 7, confident. I like it. Paul saying 10. Lots of 7s. Cole says Veach is a wizard. I'll say this. If I'm going to rank like every single step in terms of freeing up cap space, I'm a 9 confidence level. I think he's going to do that. In terms of re-signing L'Jarius Sneed and Chris Jones, probably around a 7 there, 6, 7. It was a 4 a couple weeks ago, though, so that's pretty good. Signing T. Higgins, I'm probably at a 5. Probably kind of middle ground there. Drafting, I'm at an 11. Brett Veach continues to draft some amazing players, and I really don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. So I'm pretty confident there.
I thought your tweet the other day was pretty cool, and follow Jace on Twitter.
Yeah, by the way.
Already. Let's put his L3 right there. You talked about like going back to the 2022 draft, what each player did in the Super Bowl.
I missed one of them in there too.
McDuffie had 3 pass breakups. Karlaftis with a fumble recovered.
Half a sack, a fumble recovery, and a couple tackles. 6 tackles.
Jalen Watson.
He had whatever it was. I got pissed when they called it a muff.
All the big plays started to blend together for me. But you talk about that. I mean, these are players making impact players in the biggest game of the sport just a year after they were drafted.
Well, what's funny is we could kind of do the same thing with this year to some effect. Round 2 pick, Rashee Rice. He had the most receptions by a rookie in the postseason. What? No one's talking about that.
In postseason history.
Yeah, no one's talking about that. You have Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Charles Omenihu, you heard, he comes in, gets a tackle for loss. I mean, in some ways, the guys this year also performed well. So who knows? We will see them coming up in next year saying, hey, these were the guys that we were looking at last year. Now, all of a sudden, guess what? There they are playing just the same way we saw Karlaftis, McDuffie. I mean, I'm going to say this, maybe a controversial take. McDuffie was the best player in the Super Bowl. He was the best player. I think, like, the way he played, he was on Debo the entire night.
He's not going to get the flashy award to show for it, but he was damn good. Shout out to Prize Picks for giving us that easy money.
Easy. That was so easy.
More than 0.25 pass deflections. Thank you, sir.
Oh, it was so easy. Oh, love Prize Picks. Anyways, make sure you get your questions in. Obviously, I know maybe the perfect offseason sparked a question. Got something you want to add to this? Maybe there's a wide receiver you want somebody to trade for. I know that could be a big thing. Maybe there's somebody you want to sign. Use hashtag Chiefs. Get in there. Say, hey, what do you think about this? I can go more in depth on it. Obviously, I kind of showed the 5. I went a little bit in depth, but if you want me to kind of talk more on it, go on there. Hashtag Chiefs. What do you think about Kevin Ridley? Hashtag Chiefs. What do you think about Michael Pittman? Hashtag Chiefs. What do you think about Sam Brown? I think he's great, except he went to Oklahoma.
Nice. I'll take that gladly.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. He is a Chelsea fan, though. Well, close. Anyways, use hashtag Chiefs. Get those questions in there. Got plucked by the Panthers. Oh, what was that? It was one of the presidents. There was a guy there was a front office member of the Chiefs that was plucked by the Panthers. And I'm going a blank at him. Chiefs front office to Panthers.
Brant Tillis.
You remember?
Right? Isn't that him?
That sounds right. I don't know. We're going to get this real quick. Brant Tillis. Let it go, Sam. Hey, you should host this next show. Here you go.
No, I'm good. I'm very comfortable behind the camera here.
Yeah, so he is the executive VP of football operations in Carolina. So, and he was a Chiefs executive last year. I don't think I have an impact, to be honest. Brett Veach is the one who usually makes the choices, so that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, if you got a question, use hashtag Chiefs. Get in the comment section. Again, anything that sparks your question. We're going to talk about Chris Jones here in just a second. So if this sparks a question, definitely get in there. Use hashtag Chiefs. We want to put you on the show. I will say before this one, you want to throw up one of those questions. So I feel like that always helps. Get the questions flowing a little bit.
Yeah, here. I can show.
We can show whoever.
We're gonna lead it off. We're gonna lead it off with this question, anyways.
Yeah, this will be the one we use. So there you go, Jan Rockefeller. We're putting her up there right here. Got the name, got her name, got hashtag Chiefs there in her question. This will be the first question on the mailbag. If you want to be on here just like Jan, use hashtag Chiefs. You can get in the queue, and we'll get you going all the way there. So pretty good. By the way, Jan, speaking of her, she had a $20 super chat, so she's gotten on the Hall of Fame ball. You can too. We have her name right there. We got a bunch of spots open. For some more names. We can put you up top next to the Chiefs report, which Jan also has a name on there. She was actually the first person to put it on here. On top of which, $5 to enter to win a Chiefs Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl jersey. Super Bowl 58 jersey, $5 to get in. Oh, SG Sports Talk channel. What's up, man? Didn't think we'd see you for a while. $5, you're going to get a raffle entry. $10, you're going to get 2 raffle entries. So there you go. Good deals right now. Again, it's a Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl 58 jersey.
By the way, I'm just looking at those pictures of the Royals ballpark. It does look pretty dope.
Oh, it does. By the way, follow me on Twitter. I'm also tweeting about that too.
I like Kaufman, but this is pretty sick.
It's also going to be in the center of Kansas City, which is much better for people to go to games.
Right in the heart.
Correct.
That's cool. I'm a fan. Right next to the what's it called? The T-Mobile Center.
Arrowhead could be moving too.
That would be something.
Yeah, I thought what would happen is they'd probably just make the same stadium, just closer and a little little more upgrades, but there's a chance because Kaufman's literally right next to him. And again, it's kind of out of the way. So, yeah, if you got questions about that, hashtag Chiefs. But, yeah, deal of the day, $5 raffle entry to get in on the Chiefs Patrick Mahomes jersey. So, pretty dang good. But we're going to talk some Chris Jones. Give me a second. Sorry, headset got a little itchy there.
Sorry, he's got lice. Don't mind him.
All right, let's go into the Chris Jones, re-signing him. Let me get to the area that we need to be in. Bang! All right. We're ready to go? All right. Sweet. We're going to talk some Chris Jones, and we're going to see what exactly the Kansas City Chiefs can do to re-sign him right here coming up on the Chiefs Report. Do you want Chris Jones to re-sign with the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, let me know if you want him back in 2024 by commenting on today's video. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you want Chris Jones back? That's the topic of today's show. Let's get rolling right here on the Chiefs Report. Appreciate you watching as always. I'm your host, Jace Sanders, and today's show, will the Kansas City Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones in 2024? This is the talk of the offseason. This will be the talk until something happens with Chris Jones in Kansas City or Chris Jones and somebody else. This will be the rumor, and ultimately, it's already started even just a couple days into the offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get going on here, and let's first talk about why Chris Jones is such a big deal, and ultimately why he is going to be valued at a really high number this year. And that's because, well, the past 2 years, he has been the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. You talk about 2022 and the season he had 15.5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 17 tackles for loss. He followed that up with a 10.5 sack year, 4 pass breakups, 13 tackles for loss. This guy continues to get better and better, and he shows why he is the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL. I don't want to hear Aaron Donald. I don't want to hear Jeffrey Simmons anymore. It's Chris Jones. And I'm telling you, Stone Cold wants his money. He deserves his money. What exactly is that price, though? Well, as of right now, he has been labeled as a $30 million a year type guy. Now, this has been the thought process since almost 3-4 months ago. Everybody's known this. Chris Jones even talked about it with Adam Schefter, saying, I want this amount of money. I would like $30 million. He wants to be the highest paid interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. Now, this was all before the season, though. As the season went on, we kind of saw an emotional change in him. And I think from the Bengals game on, that Chris Jones maybe not so much worried about the money. Well, obviously wants to get his bag, which he 100% deserves. But maybe there's a little bit of a discount for the home team that he's been playing with for his entire career. That's good because right now the Kansas City Chiefs, well, their cap space is not exactly in the greatest spot. Right now, it's sitting around $22.8 million at 2024. Now, they could increase that number. Do not think that's what it's going to stick at. They have a lot of things they could do. They could obviously restructure Mahomes' contract, which I expect to happen in the near future. They could cut some players. We talk about Marquez Valdes-Scantling. There's a couple of guys. Ultimately, MVS is probably going to save you the most money, but there's some guys where we could see them just kind of pop off the charts and say, hey, we're not going to pay you anymore. Guess what? More money to spend on Chris Jones and a couple of other free agents, which goes to that third point. There's going to be a lot of free agents that the Kansas City Chiefs want to keep. When you win a Super Bowl, you want everybody back. The top two, though, once again, we've shown this before, and I continue to say it, Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed may be the top two guys that they want to keep back. Now, I'm going to go on my prediction bag, and I don't think this will happen, but who knows? I don't know if Mike Danna, Willie Gay Jr., or Donovan Smith will re-sign. That's kind of my inclination right at the moment right now, just because of how much they value Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. I say that, though, to say everybody on the right side, Mike Edwards, Drue Tranquill, Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Tommy Townsend, I kind of expect every one of them to sign back in some form or fashion. Mike Edwards may be the one, but again, I'm saying this because I've heard it from multiple organizations, and Adam Schefter even said it on a couple things that we're going to show you here in just a minute. They expect to retain a majority of their players. What exactly does that mean? We don't really know. And what is a majority? I don't know. I have a lot of players on contract. Is that what they meant? Is it they expect to sign back all the free agents? We don't know. But ultimately, all we can do is sit here and kind of talk about it and talk about the money they have. Given the restructuring of Patrick Mahomes' contract that we can see coming in the next couple of days, maybe weeks, we'll figure it out. Well, they're probably opening some space to try and make sure they have a lot of money to sign those guys back. And hopefully one of them is Chris Jones. But I will say this. If you want to know when the Chiefs re-sign a player, Well, then guess what? Hit that subscribe button because we'll have a video right away. They re-signed Chris Jones, video coming out. They re-signed L'Jarius Sneed, we'll have a video coming out. Drue Tranquill, anybody. We got videos on lock every single day of the year right here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. So hit that subscribe button today because we have the best offseason coverage on YouTube on your Kansas City Chiefs. I mentioned L'Jarius Sneed. I also want to keep him, which that's where the money could get a little tight. Because if you franchise tag L'Jarius Sneed, which they have been talking about doing, that's going to be around $20 million. And so you're talking $60 million in cap space if you restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract. Say you cut a couple people, you maybe get that to 70. That's at best. Then you're using 50 of it on 2 players. I don't know how exactly that's going to be done. But I like the way Brett Veach said it. Because he said this talking about keeping both Jones and Sneed. Sometimes I look at our situation and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this. But we usually work through things systematically and have a list of the priorities. It seems as though they want and they will get both. What that happens, though, is how will that cost them? Will they be able to sign a free agent and say T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley? Will they have to go to the draft for their wide receiver help? That's where the questions come in, because right now, the top priority for the Kansas City Chiefs, you just won a Super Bowl. Keep everybody you can, and then worry about what holes are needed to be fixed. Obviously, though, in some ways, wide receivers are a hole that is open, that you were able to win the Super Bowl with that hole. Every team's going to have something they need to work on. Chiefs, it's probably wide receivers. Offensive line has been pretty great. They're only losing Donovan Smith. It's just going to kind of depend on the money. So we'll have to see about that. But again, we talked about them keeping the team intact. That's just not me spitballing. I'm not the one saying I'm not saying this from, my perspective. I'm saying it literally from the top NFL reporter, at least one of them, Adam Schefter. He was on Pat McAfee's show just a couple days ago saying the Chiefs are going to run it back with a lot of this team intact. He goes on to say, when we're talking about Chris Jones, I don't think Chris Jones is going to want to leave unless there's some huge offers out there. And why wouldn't he? He's a Super Bowl champion, and he is a legend here in Kansas City. Speaking of Super Bowl champions, make sure you're getting your gear because we got it right in the description, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Got the home of the chrome shirts. Me and Sam both agreed, underrated shirt. This is super nice. Back-to-back champions, home of the chrome for the Lombardi Trophy. We like that a lot. You want the ones the players wore on the field, though? Guess what? The link also has that. Super Bowl champions. It's super awesome. I know that they had the short sleeve. They also have long sleeves. They got men's, women's, all sizes. And like I'm telling you, go get your gear because we're Super Bowl champions and we're the only team in the NFL that can say it. And I know, hey, you want your Super Bowl championship gear, but you're not really a shirt guy. You're not one of them. You want a hat. Guess what? We got that in the link as well. These hats are sick. I actually bought one today using my link, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Go down there, use that link. It's super awesome. I'm going to get me one of these hats. I already bought it today. It's going to be coming in. I'm going to show y'all when I get it too. So I appreciate all of y'all. And again, go check them down there, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Get your championship gear today. All right, let's talk about this and kind of how exactly Chris Jones is going to work. My whole take on the situation. Chris Jones, earlier this year, his holdout was something that we almost forgot about. And we thought that there was no chance that he was going to stay in KC. But now, after we had that whole thing with McAfee talking about how he doesn't want to leave, everything's kind of changed. And the people that were saying he had no chance to stay in KC, well, they're questioning themselves. Hand up. That was me. I thought he was not going to be able to stay here. Let's go through the timeline of what happened, because I think we all forget. On July 22nd, Jones began his holdout by not reporting to training camp. September 7th, he missed the first game of the season. He was not there. Well, he was. He was just in the booth with his 2 mob boss agents on the right and left. Then, just a couple days later, he ended his holdout after threatening to sit out until week 8. And then guess what? It worked out because on February 11th, just a couple days ago, he won the Super Bowl for the 3rd time in his career. Super Bowl champion, just the same amount of time as Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't look like he wants to leave now, does it? I don't know about that. That picture looks pretty nice to me. And if you see the video, that looks even better. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this doesn't look like a face of a guy who wants to leave Kansas City anytime soon. And I know that there's a lot of hoorah behind contracts and whether or not it's going to work out, but I think if you take a step back and you see him from the first 11, 12, 13 weeks of the season to now, it's a very different Chris Jones. And I think that maybe because the Chiefs want to pay him. I think last year he was concerned because the Chiefs didn't want to pay him, or at least that's what he thought. But I think Brett Veach was trying to almost hold it off until now. So we'll see. But guess what? Andy Reid got to talk about him. He said this a couple days ago about Chris Jones and his return in 2024 and potentially beyond. Veach has said it before. We'd love to have him back. We just got to work all that out. The effort will be there on both sides to work some of that out. I asked you if you wanted him back. I want you to become a reporter. I want you to become a non-biased person taking wanting or not wanting him out of this. What will happen? What is going to happen? I want you to be the prediction here and let me know. Will the Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones? If you think it will happen and that the deal will get done, then I want you to type R for re-sign. If you're thinking, no, I don't think the deal's going to get done, I don't think that it's going to work out, then type P for pass. The Chiefs will pass on him. Let me know in the comment section again. This is not, want him or not. I want you to be a predictor here and tell me what is going to happen. R for re-sign, P for pass. No matter what happens, again, we'll have you covered right here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. He re-signs with the Chiefs, we'll have a video. He passes, he goes somewhere else, we'll have a video. No matter what, the offseason is full of a lot of awesome stuff, and I want you to be a part of it. So hit that subscribe button and join us right here on the Chiefs Report. Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out. Let's go. Ew. Lots of R's. Again, do y'all think this is going to happen? Because that's a resounding, I think this is going to happen. So, that's pretty good. Tony, Tyman, Charles saying it's going to happen. Tyman saying it's going to happen. Tony Fuentes saying it's going to happen. I hope so. Tyman saying R. Paul saying R. I mean, I would love to have him back. I don't know if I'm 100% like, oh yeah, he's coming back though. I think that's where I kind of stand. Like the video if you want him back though. I do know that. If you want him back, hit that like button. Oh man. R from Paul and Time Man and Jan.
I think they do it. I don't think it'll be easy. I don't think it'll be fun to sit through and wait for.
No, but it's gonna happen.
I think it'll get done.
Fair enough.
At least I hope it does.
Yeah. Everybody on here, that's what we want. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of curious to see like what's going on with all the contracts. So we'll see. A thought must occur to me both times that Chris Jones' recent contracts have expired. It's been right after a Super Bowl championship, which again that kind of helps. When you win a Super Bowl, you kind of want to stay with the team you just won the Super Bowl with, which is nice. All right, Time Man. No, Browns aren't gonna do anything. Come on. Use hashtag Chiefs. Get some questions in there. No, we got a couple, but I want some more. I want everybody to get involved in this one. I feel like we've had some lackluster attendances in the last couple mailbags. I know we were live a couple times last week, so obviously, not a lot of questions to spread out in a way. But today, I want everybody using hashtag Chiefs because that's curious. Charles, I like it. Again, what about re-signing? Same thing. If you've got a question that regards that, you want me to talk more about it, do it. I mean, I'll talk about it. Plus, guess what? This is going to be a video that goes out later in the week. You're going to be on it. You're going to be on a video. Pretty cool. Sam's on like all the videos. He thinks it's pretty cool. He loves it. He's always here to be like, oh yeah, go Jace. I definitely think Pistol Pete's way better. He's zoned out. Charles Hayden says hard for re-sign.
I'm working on other things.
Oh, okay. He's busy. Boss man over there. Gotta keep busy. Sam, keep me in check. All right. Use hashtag Chiefs. I do have to ask you this to get out of the zone for a second. Do we have some questions? Got a lot of questions in here? How we doing?
So far, I know we've got questions from Parker Gamer, asked about Brian Cook. Said his friend wants Brian Cook to get traded to the Steelers. We've got questions from Jan. Jan's going to be the first question on, obviously. Let's see. Boomer Miller's in there. Tony Fuentes. Jerome Bunkers is going to go on the show. Everett Green. Charles B. Hayden.
D.
Is that a D? Oh, yeah.
How about that D, baby?
And then Cole Keller might throw you a little bit of curveball. Has the 2024 cap been announced? I don't know what you mean in terms of the 2024 cap. I think it would have already been announced.
He's talking about all the signing bonus, the incentive bonuses, because all the incentive bonuses on this year go into next year's cap.
Oh.
So it should be $22.8 million. That's what it says on.
I'll throw that on the show and let you talk about it real quick.
I know it. We're good.
By the way, quick update. I just saw this across my Twitter too. John Lynch revealed that Eric Armstead played through a torn meniscus and Javon Hargrave played through a torn ligament in his thumb. Fun. I just always love hearing those like.
Oh, well, they did this.
Post Stanley Cup. It's mostly like hockey. You're like, oh, this guy played with a broken sternum. And they're like, yeah, he played 23 minutes tonight and finished with 4 shots on goal.
Yeah, he had a 20-minute ice time.
They do the same thing. They're starting to do the same thing with football players and kind of mask some of the things a little bit.
By the way, I still do feel bad for Greenlaw. That was so unfortunate.
That's awful.
Just running on the field. And it stinks because, I mean, Super Bowl aside, obviously, Chiefs win. That's great. That may have helped in some ways. But the fact he's going to be out for a majority of next season, too, which really hurts. He's on a contract year. That sucks. But that's football. Unfortunately, that's the way it goes. All right, Sam. Well, we got some questions in there. Obviously, keep using hashtag Chiefs because we can continue to get them in there. So, don't feel like you're left out if the show starts. You can use hashtag Chiefs, and Sam may be able to get some in. So we got a good show coming for you, and all questions from y'all. So we appreciate it. And Sam, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, Sam. Let's get it going here. Chiefs Report, mailbag, time of the week. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Let's get it going. Chiefs Kingdom, it's officially off-season time, which means the rumors have swirled. Everybody's talking about it, and well, that means we get to talk about it too because, well, I want to hear from you. What's the biggest rumor you're talking about? What's some questions you have about the Kansas City Chiefs offense? We answer a bunch and the latest news and rumors around the Kansas City Chiefs based on questions from you. Let's start off with Jan Rockefeller, who's a legend and is the reason that we were doing this show. $20 super chat. She gets the first question on today's mailbag. Shout out to Jan. If you want to be like her, we have giveaways on our Tuesday live shows where we're giving away a Super Bowl 58 Patrick Mahomes jersey. So check us out Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come hang out with us. We got a lot of fun stuff, giveaways and all that. So check us out if you're not already there on our live shows on Tuesdays. Jan says, is it true the Niners didn't know about the overtime rule change and didn't? Yep, that's true. They didn't know. Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about because you sit here and you think, okay, you have this team who is in the Super Bowl, whose coach is regarded as one of the top offensive minds, and they don't know the freaking overtime rules, which, by the way, it's been that way for a long time. 28 games to be exact in the playoffs. That was the first overtime game with the new rules. It was in the Super Bowl, of course. And so I sit here and wonder, Jan, if the Niners were to score, Kyle Juszczyk said, I just assumed if you get the toss, you take it, because if you score, you win. Would they have run on the field, Sam?
It beats me. I don't even want to know, but it's funny because Kyle Juszczyk walked back that overtime comment today and was saying that, it's just people looking for a way to trash Shanahan for not teaching his team the rule.
But he didn't. Oh, my gosh. I don't get it, man. They didn't know the rules, and now they're trying to make it look like it wasn't Kyle Shanahan's fault, which I don't think it was Shanahan's fault, to be fair. I think that should have been an organizational-wide problem. Also, coach or not, you're a player in the National Football League playing in the Super Bowl. How does the thought not cross your mind? I wonder what overtime rules there are now that they're changed. What? Jan, I appreciate the question because I've been wanting to talk about that for a while. The Niners just making up excuses if they're trying to save Shanahan. That's crazy. Parker Gamer saying, my friend wants Brian Cook to get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers because he's a big Cincinnati college fan. Brian Cook is his chief. Sorry. Unfortunately, in some ways, I think that's exactly why Mike Edwards may end up not being re-signed after all, because if you look at the safeties, you got Justin Reed under contract, Brian Cook, who is only a third year. He was in that 2022 rookie class who performed so well in the Super Bowl. And then you have Shamari Connor, who was a rookie this year out of Virginia Tech, 6th-round pick, played incredibly well all year long. So potentially could see Brian Cook back next year. Had that ankle injury. There was thought that he could return. His ankle looked pretty messed up, though. But he should be back and ready to go for 2024, though. So excited to see him, and he will not be going to the Steelers. He is a Kansas City Chief, I'll tell you that. Joey B could never saying, what's a wide receiver the Chiefs could trade for? Funny story, Joey B could never, because Joey B could never make T. Higgins a better wide receiver than Patrick Mahomes could. And obviously that's one to sign. But in terms of trading for guys, I want to kind of sit here and say this. People kind of talked about the potential of Tyreek Hill coming back to Kansas City. I kind of think that could be an interesting thing because honestly, the money would be interesting. But overall, the picks that they had, it's kind of funny when you sit back and look at it. It could work. Tyreek Hill, again, obviously traded away from the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's a potential they could come back. But overall, I think a lot of the ways the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go about their wide receiver differences is probably going to be signing, just because when you make trades, you're going to have to give up. I will say this, though. Don't be surprised if the Kansas City Chiefs try and trade up in the draft. Maybe they could go to maybe pick number 10, draft a little Rome Odunze maybe. We'll have to see, but I want to let you know, who is a wide receiver you want the Kansas City Chiefs to trade for or sign in the next upcoming season? Let me know in the comment section of today's video. I'm curious to see who y'all think the Chiefs could trade for into 2024. Jerome Bunker saying, give a shout out to the scriptwriters. Down to the blocked extra point. Wow, they are good. I don't believe in scriptwriters, but dang, that was a good Super Bowl. And I'll tell you this, if it was script written, I don't know how they could have done it better. That's something you can't script. I mean, that was such an amazing game. And I'm going to say it, it's probably the best Super Bowl since the Patriots 28-3 comeback. So that's just the way it kind of goes. Jerome's question, another one saying, how long do the Chiefs have with Travis? Is his replacement still in college, a free agent trade, or on a roster? I'll say this. The Chiefs love Noah Gray, and there's no inclination right now that Travis Kelce retires anytime soon. I would love for the Chiefs to draft Ja'Tavion Sanders. I think he would be a good fit. He's kind of a Kyle Pitts-style tight end. He would fit in the Chiefs system, kind of a taller guy like Travis Kelce is. But I don't think they're going to worry about tight ends because that's not the main need. They have Travis Kelce. Why are you drafting a tight end? I wouldn't be surprised to see someone drafted in the late round, but I sit here and say it. They love their tight end room, all the way to Blake Bell. I mean, at this point, they have Noah Gray, who they love. They've talked lots about, who, by the way, was a really good tight end, too, throughout the season. And they have Blake Bell, who's played decent when he's come onto the field as well. Now we got another question coming in here from Tony Fuentes saying, hashtag Chiefs, are they going to franchise tag T. Higgins? Because, look, if they do, what are we going to do for agent? Maybe Mike Evans? I don't think they're going to franchise tag T. Higgins. Why? Franchise tagging him would just be, the predictions are so low because it just doesn't make sense. The money, it all just would really not work overall. I think in terms of what the likelihood of it, from predictions I've seen, they've said low. That's the likelihood. So I don't know if they would go after Mike Evans, though. If T. Higgins is not the one they sign, watch out for Calvin Ridley. I think he's the one that is linked to the Chiefs. But I will say this. There's one receiver that has gone under the radar, not in the top 5. Curtis Samuel, free agent from the Washington Commanders. I love what he's brought to the field. He's kind of that gadget-type player. To me, he's what they thought Kadarius Toney was. I'd love to see him in Arrowhead Stadium come next season. I will say this, though. We're the only team that can do it, so I need you to get in the comment section and type champs, because I'm telling you, it's a good time to be a Chiefs fan. Go down there, champs, because, listen, now it's over 365 days, and no one can type champs. go down there, type champs, and while you're at it, you can press the link chatsports.com/Super Bowl to get your Super Bowl champions gear. This hat is super sleek. I bought me one of these just a couple days ago. I will actually show it to you when it gets on here. I'm going to show it to you, but I bought one of them. They're pretty awesome. I also got the shirts here, the one they wore on field. Nice to have that in the grays, and they have it in long sleeve as well. Men's, women's, all sizes, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. And then one that I really like, Home of the Chrome. Lombardi Trophy going back to Kansas City. You can get this at chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Make sure to go check them out because I'm telling you, you're not going to get your championship gear better than right here, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. The link will be in the description and the comments of today's video. Everett Green saying, I would trade Kelsey and MVS for Evans and Diggs. I would not. Sorry. Travis Kelsey is the greatest tight end of all time and has a relationship with with Patrick Mahomes that is literally unmatched. Mike Evans and Stephon Diggs. First of all, Stephon Diggs sucks. I'm going to sit here and say this. This dude played horrible down the stretch, and in all reality, the Chiefs have some great cornerbacks. They have some great secondary. But he did miss that catch that was a perfect launch from Josh Allen that could have set them up inside the red zone. So I don't think Stephon Diggs is worth it. And Mike Evans is 30 years old. He's good. I'm not trading Kelsey for him, though. That makes no sense. Die Hard KC. What's your biggest concern the Chiefs need to address before the 2024 season? It's wide receiver. I think it's a little bit less of a concern now than it was, say, week 10, 11. I still think it's the most important. And whether that's signing somebody, and there are a lot of good free agents, Mike Evans, Pittman, T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, and Calvin Ridley, or potentially trading up in the draft. I think that's something that people are forgetting about. The Chiefs don't need much, especially if they re-sign, say, Chris Jones, L'Jarius Sneed, Mike Evans, Townsend. They get both the running backs. I don't really know what they would need, to be honest. They have a potential to Felix and Uduke-Ozoma's going to come in there. They're going to have Charles Omenihu. I would say you can maybe trade up in the draft to draft a wide receiver instead of having to sign one of these guys. Or you could also sign one of these guys and draft a defensive lineman and trade up in the draft for him. So we'll have to see. Watch for these three, though. Marquise Brown, T. Higgins, and Calvin Ridley. Those are the guys that I think the Chiefs will be most likely to sign into 2024 once free agency opens up. Charles D. Hayden saying, what are the chances we re-sign Tommy Townsend? I'm saying it right now, 85%. I don't see him going anywhere. He loves to be a Chief. Also, don't know if y'all saw the picture of him and Taylor Swift. If you didn't, follow me on Twitter. I tweeted it out at @JaceAndrews_. It's pretty fire. He looks pretty happy. He wants to stay. Him and Butker are close friends. I'm pretty positive they'll give Tommy Townsend what he needs to stay, whatever that may be. I'm pretty sure they'll be like, hey, you're a punter, but here's a blank check. Like, what do you think you're worth? And we'll see what we can do with that. So I think he'll resign. Jan Rockefeller says, any news on Eric Bieniemy coming back? As of right now, no. Now, he did, again, talk to the team before the AFC Championship game. If you missed that, we did a video on that just a couple days ago. But I will say this. He has a decision to make because there's not really any offensive coordinator jobs left. He hasn't been interviewed for really any of them. So the Chiefs like him. They've really worked with him for the past couple of years. I could see Eric Bieniemy coming back to the Kansas City Chiefs as a different role than offensive coordinator. I don't know what it would be, just because they kind of everybody locked up in contracts. Matt Nagy seems like he's going to be the one to be the offensive coordinator next year. I think Bieniemy could come back. Him and Coach Reid are close friends. I will say this. Bieniemy has a job in 2024 if he wants it with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just about if he finds a better one outside of them or if the Chiefs kind of become that last second, I want a job, what can I do for you? So I could see Bieniemy coming back. Charles D. Hayden says, what about linebacker recommendations for draft or free agency? I like drafting linebackers, but I think free agency is more important in terms of linebackers because to me, you're keeping Nick Bolton. You're going to try and keep Drue Tranquill, and obviously Nick Bolton under contract. Willie Gay Jr., I don't think you're going to keep, unfortunately. But there is somebody who may be willing to take a little bit of a pay cut to come play for a championship caliber team. Patrick Queen. He's a free agent this year. There's a potential that Brett Veach could go after him. I know that in some ways, he may be a little bit more expensive a taste than people are looking for the linebackers. But at the same time, if you have Nick Bolton, Drue Tranquill, and then you add on Patrick Queen, that linebacker room would be feared amongst everybody. There's no linebacker room that would be better. So, hey, maybe you get Patrick Queen. We'll have to see if that actually happens. Tony Fuentes saying, I watched all the watch parties. Well, I appreciate you, Tony Fuentes. And you know why you watched them? Because I know Tony subscribed, and he has that bell click, so he's getting notifications for whenever we go live, just like our Tuesday live shows, which this was filmed on. So go down there, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you turn those notifications. We want you to be a part of our Tuesday live shows. You saw all these questions. You could be on it too. Come join us 3 p.m. Central Time on Tuesdays. We're going to be live every single Tuesday of the offseason, and we can't wait to see you because, man, it's going to be a fun time all the way up until draft, where we'll be live for the draft too. Lots of stuff coming, so hit that subscribe button. We love it here on Chiefs Support. We hope you do too. As always, Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out. Ugh. Again, I get stuffy now all of a sudden when I talk, or whatever. I see why you put that one up there. Well, that's the third show, guys.
That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
That's all, folks. It's the bid in Ferris Bueller.
That's all, folks.
It's the bid in Ferris Bueller. It's,
go home.
You're still here?
Why are you still here?
The show's over.
I think this is like what?
Go on.
You were on the watch party on Sunday, the live show last Tuesday. I think you've mentioned Ferris Bueller in every single one of those.
It says it's my Roman Empire. It's on my mind much more than I'm willing to admit.
Okay. I mean, hey, respect. I'll take it. I'm not complaining. I love Ferris Bueller. So
we do have some shout-outs in the comments.
We do. We got Mike Evans. Gabriel saying, Hollywood, baby.
I'd be down to bring Hollywood
to
Kansas City.
We talked about him trading. I want T. Higgins, but I think considering the way the wide receivers play, he's just not worth the money.
Yeah.
It's hard because I think his market value is around $14 million.
I think his market. I think what you're maybe saying is, and I'm maybe following you, is that his market value might get boosted by other people that are kind of in the tier above him.
Correct.
Like those guys could easily just sign relatively quickly, and all of a sudden people are scrambling, and you get in a bidding war for Marquise Brown.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, which is why I think Curtis Samuel's not a bad option. I like him a lot. Washington played well, gadget guy, not really looked at. You can get him for cheap too. $5 million a year. Be easy. Paul Hannon says Tyreek Hill. Listen, that'd be kind of fire. Trade back for Tyreek Hill. Be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that's all she wrote though. Unless you have any questions. Paul Hannon says, come back home. Yes. Come on, Tyreek.
His personality is Miami. There's no way he's liking the fact that he's been to the playoffs twice. Or no, he's missed the playoffs once.
I was going to say, missed it last year.
Yeah, he's been 2 years out of Kansas City. He's won 0 playoff games.
And they've won 2 games.
They've won 2 Super Bowls. Well, he's in the 2 years since he's left.
Correct.
Kansas City has won 2 Super Bowls.
And beaten him twice.
Love that.
Oh, man. I hope he comes back. I think ultimately he could come back at some point. Maybe not this year. I could see him signing back with the Chiefs.
Well,
just
it's weird
retire.
with his whole like, didn't he say he's going to retire after a decade?
Yeah, which is,
that's coming up.
Here.
He's been in the league
8 years.
8 years now.
Yeah, so
6
2
with
more.
Kansas City. That'd be 2 more years.
Come home for a couple of years.
And then he's going to go Twitch streaming for a living.
Or something else he said, which I'm not going to repeat. There's a career path he wants. Let's just say that. Not exactly the greatest for him, but hey, as long as he's happy. That's all we got, though. Problem with trading for Tyreek is Miami would ask for more than we have up. You don't know that. Listen, there's predictions that they're going to sign Tua Tagovailoa to the largest contract in quarterback history. They're not smart down there in Miami. They're not smart. They're signing Tua to a larger contract than Patrick and Joe Burrow. Yikes. No, you're good, Cole. I got what you said. All right, so I think that's the wrap. Wrap, is that what they say?
Yeah, where's the director's thing?
Yeah. Purple Labrador agree. Tua is not a franchise quarterback. He's good. He will not win a Super Bowl. Sorry.
Yep. That's right.
Ultimately, that's what it is.
He's going to be the second best quarterback in Dolphins history to never win a Super Bowl.
Who's the first best?
Dan Marino.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys. Jace is 14. Like, he doesn't have the wise old brains that we do.
Yeah. Remember when you graduated college? I graduated high school.
That's disgusting.
Well, I'll let you soak in that. We'll gotta go here, though. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Again, we're gonna be live every single Tuesday. We still got those giveaways going on, so hey, you want to come check out with us, see if you can get a couple entries in for that Patrick Mahomes jersey raffle. We'll be live right here on the Chiefs Sports, so hit that subscribe button. Cole Kellner, Tony Foot, Cole Kelleher, Jan, shout out to you, Tony, Paul, everybody hanging out with us, Gabriel. I know we had a couple questions from Jerome Bunkers in there, Paul, Charles D.
Boomer Miller.
Yeah, everybody who hung out with us got a question. And shout out to y'all. Y'all legends. But for now, that does it for us. We'll have a video out later today. Make sure you check it out. We will appreciate all of you as always. Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.